I have no idea if this will see the light of day. I recorded another one and I noticed that my eyes dart around so much and I could already feel myself doing it. So I can feel it. No. So if that drives you crazy, I am so sorry. I apparently don't even like eye contact with myself. I find it really awkward and uncomfortable. So, because that's who I'm looking at right now in my laptop. But I wanted to share my National Book Lovers Day book haul. I went to a couple libraries earlier and I used bookshop and I was dressed cuter. I was not wearing like a 10-year-old Cape Cod t-shirt, but I'm home now. I'm comfy. I'm probably going to rearrange bookshelves and hopefully at some point get around to actually reading today. But I wanted to share my book haul. But a little bit first about me. I am not a hardcore crazy reader. I'm not reading 50 books a year. I hope one day to get there. I am not there. If I read 20, that's probably like an amazing year. If I read 12, also probably an amazing year. So if you're not reading like crazy, I know there's a ton of people that are reading so many books every year. If you read one a year or two a year or five a year or none a year and you just want to read more, I totally get it. So this isn't going to be, if this gets posted, if this becomes a channel, it's not going to be crazy amounts of book reviews or anything like that. That's just not going to be the case. I may maybe at some point do some like record album reviews, but we'll see how it all goes. I have no idea. I don't even know if I'll post this. So I am mostly a nonfiction reader. I do read fiction occasionally, but I tend to prefer things with tougher themes that can feel a little more real. So not sci-fi, not fantasy, not romance. I'm very much so need some tough tragedy stuff to feel attached to a character and want to root for them and feel connected to them and feel moved by the book. So I read a lot of memoirs, nature writing here and there. Sometimes if it gets too sciencey, I may not do it because it's just going to take me forever to read the book because I can only read 3 to 5 pages before I'm asleep. And that's another thing. If you're the type of person that wants to read more, but your eyes just end up closed every time you read, I get you. I understand completely. So, welcome. You're in good hands. But mostly nonfiction, some fiction, some self-help. That's a little iffy for me nowadays because I feel like self-help is a business, and when you have people who are writing 5-10 self-help books, I don't want to say if you got it right the first time, you wouldn't need all the other ones. That's not necessarily true, but sometimes the concept in the book could have been an email. It doesn't need to be a whole book. It could have been a blog post. It could have been a reel on Instagram. It doesn't need to be a whole book. So I'm a little iffy when it comes to self-help books now. So still will read them, but I'm trying to be more mindful of that. I am a Storygraph. I converted to Storygraph. I love Storygraph. So that's how I track my reading. I will put tabs in books and go through, add my notes into Storygraph under their journal entries. If they mention other books in there, if they mention different things, I'll put those in Storygraph as well that I can refer back to because I tend to check out books from the library. I have spent so much money on books that I never got around to reading, or I did start reading them and I ended up not finishing them. And I don't want to spend that much money anymore on books that I don't know that I'm going to love. I'm not the person that wants to keep every book I've ever read on my shelf. I want to keep the books that I loved and enjoyed and would want to loan to people to read them too. So I'm not cat under my desk. I don't want to spend money on books if I can avoid it. I have 4 library cards now, I think. So I'm hoping the chances of me being able to find a book at a library are better. Sometimes I can't. And then I will buy used books. And I'll try and do thrift books or maybe my local bookshop. But I'm not perfect. And if I see a book that looks interesting at a used bookstore, I will probably buy it if it's on my to be read list on Storygraph. So absolutely not perfect, but I try to buy used more often. But I will, from the library as well, I will get ebooks. I will get audiobooks, but audiobooks are a little trickier for me because sometimes the narrator just isn't that great, or I start daydreaming and thinking about stuff and I just missed 15 minutes of the book. So audiobooks are a little tricky for me. I am also trying to do a better job of not looking at reviews and letting that influence my opinion of whether or not to read a book. It can be helpful, but I just read a book that had over 4-star reviews, and for me it wasn't a 4-star book. I enjoyed it. I would maybe recommend it, but to me it wasn't a 4-star book. But that doesn't mean I didn't get something from it. So I have tended to think if it doesn't have over 4 stars, I don't want to read it. And now I'm realizing that even books with 3 point whatever stars still can have value. So I'm trying to do that more. Trying to see if there's any other things that I want to share before I get into the books. Not sure if anybody's heard this. If you're wondering, should I finish this book or should I get rid of it? Whatever. Doing 100 pages minus your age. Read that number of pages. If you're not into the book, don't finish it. There are other books to be read. So I think I'm going with my book haul. If there's anything I missed that I remember to mention, I will probably mention it in the middle of the book haul. But first up, one that I checked out from the library that I've been reading is Respect, The Life of Aretha Franklin by David Ritz. I believe this author also helped her write her autobiography. I don't remember what it's called. I know it does mention it in this book. My only complaint about this book, and it's not even a real complaint, is just that there are so many musical artists mentioned that I want to listen to and I want to check out, that I've been tabbing stuff like crazy, which it doesn't look like it because I went through and I input the recommendations into Storygraph so I could remove the tabs and reuse them. I stick them on here. I'm reusing them just to try and not be so wasteful. If it was a book I was keeping from myself, then I'd probably just leave the tabs in there, but since I'm not, they're going back on here to be used another time. And because I can't write in a library book, you know? But anyway, I'm enjoying this book. I'm only about 67, 68 pages in, but I really am enjoying it. I just need to crack down and figure out a system to maybe not tab everything and just go through each chapter at the end and quickly enter stuff on Storygraph, so that way I can read through it a little more quickly, because it's kind of tedious to tab every single one because sometimes there's 5 artists that sound interesting on a page, and it's a lot. So I am enjoying it though, but I do need to finish it. Another one that I checked out from the library today is Soil, The Story of a Black Mother's Garden by Camille T. Dungy, I'm assuming. The cover of this book is beautiful. That's what I was going to say. Okay, so sometimes I will go to Barnes & Noble and I will take pictures of the covers of books. If it looks interesting, if I read the back of it a little bit, I will take pictures of it and then I will come home and add it to Storygraph. So that's kind of my system. I will buy books from Barnes & Noble sometimes, but mostly I just I take pictures and then, add it in. So that's a way for me to try and not spend so much money and be impulsive on buying books that I may never read. But anyway, I don't know if this is one that I saw there or where I saw it, how I saw it, but the cover is so beautiful. I think I just realized how I saw it. I came across a bookshop in New Jersey that focuses on environmental kind of books, and I think this book was in one of their Instagram pictures. So anyway, I'm very excited to read this one. I have a feeling I'm going to really like it, but it's just beautiful. Hold on, I gotta create room. But I need to finish Aretha Franklin, and I also have a book that just became available, an ebook from the library that I had started Didn't get around to finishing it. Couldn't renew it because so many holds were placed on it. So I need to finish that one. Next up, I've Had to Think Up a Way to Survive by Lynn Melnick. On trauma, persistence, and Dolly Parton. I think I've kind of read mixed reviews on this one, and I know there are tough themes in it. So I don't think it's going to be a feel-good read, but I'm excited. I think each chapter focuses on a different Dolly Parton song, and I am somebody who really likes Dolly Parton and will be sad when she's no longer on this earth. So I'm excited to read this one. I think there's been mixed reviews, but I'm excited for it. So that was a library one as well. Now I'm going to get into the ones that I did buy from the used bookshop. It got me today. But it's National Book Lovers Day, so it's totally okay, right? And it was only like $20 for 5 books. Not so bad. Okay. A Year by the Sea, Thoughts of an Unfinished Woman by Joan Anderson. I'm not going to go through what these books are about so much because some of them I don't really totally know or whatever. But yeah, this one to me, where I'm at right now of not really sure how I feel about marriage or children, I think this is going to be an interesting one for me to read from somebody who had kids, who got married, and then kind of took some time to figure out what her goals were and stuff like that. So I am interested to read this one. It was not on my radar at all until I went to the bookshop and I saw it and thought, okay, we'll give it a go. This one I did see at Barnes & Noble, and I did take a picture of it, and I did see on Storygraph that had really good reviews, which excited me because the cover, I love the photo of this. Like, the photo of the cover is just, if this isn't a good memoir, I'm going to be so sad and disappointed. Memorial Drive by Natasha Trethewey, I'm assuming. I don't know how to say it. Memoirs, I love memoirs, so I am very excited to read this book. And I just, the sepia tone, it's not clear. It's a beautiful photo. I love it. Excited about this one. This one, also one that was not on my radar at all. And I feel like it could go either way, where I either enjoy it or it's not my cup of tea. But I opened it a little bit and read it, things here and there, and I think it might be useful to me. 1,000 Names for Joy by Byron Katie. I've never read anything by her, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. I think it's either really going to do it for me or it's really not. That's kind of my feeling for the book. I might be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. And then this one, I almost passed on this one, but the cover is so beautiful. Vanilla, The Cultural History of the World's Favorite Flower and Fragrance by Patricia. It's just so beautiful, and I looked when I came home, but I think even just the cover of it is just so pretty. And I opened it up midway and read just a tiny bit to see, does this feel very sciencey? How is it written? Because like I said, sometimes it can just be, it's just too much. I'm going to fall asleep or not be interested in it. But it seems like it might be totally doable. It might be interesting. So I did buy it. So I'm curious to read this one. I'm excited about it. This one has been on my to be read list for a really long time. And I think I've just been hesitant because I feel like it is going to be super sciencey. It may not be, but I've just been hesitant to read it, even though I've seen such good reviews, and I do think it's a beneficial and useful concept. Breath by James Nestor. If you've ever practiced different ways of breathing, you can discover that how you breathe is actually a really useful tool. So I am curious to read this one and learn more, but I think I'm still going to push it back a little bit. Just, I can feel that hesitancy, but I am very curious for the concept. So bought 5 books today that are going to go on my to be read shelf. Not horrible. Like I said, it's like $20 or something. Not bad. Which would have been the cost of one book, maybe. Okay, yeah. So that is my book haul for National Book Lovers Day. If I make this a channel, I will see you again. Maybe just one book review here or another one there. I can share some favorite ones. I don't really know. I don't want to do a ton of book hauls because I don't want to promote consumption or overconsumption in a way. Even this is a lot of books kind of for me nowadays. I used to just want to buy everything on my TBR list, and now I'm trying to cut back on that because money, and we only have so much time. Like, are we really going to get around to every single book we want to read? In an ideal world, yes. Realistically, probably not. So, trying to be more mindful. But, yeah. So, again, I don't read a ton of books every year. I'm hoping to read more. It's a goal of mine. Mostly nonfiction. Try and check things out from the library. And then if not, buy used. So, if that's your vibe, welcome. Stay. I'm sorry if my eyes were going all over the place. I don't like eye contact. Anyway, bye. Thanks for joining in.